Joseph Wunderlich. I'm a professor of engineering, computer science, and architecture. And this is a lecture on showing you some simple code that I developed in 2019 for neural network processors that I was developing in my master's thesis and my initial PhD research before I went to IBM supercomputer design and development. Created these neural network processors, graduate schools. And this is a simple simulation from 30 years ago showing you how a basic neural network works. This is in the Advanced Computer Engineering course, Engineering Computer Science 433 in spring of 2020. This is a Matlab script. And so we'll let this video run and narrate it. So you see this code here developed for 221, that's 2 inputs, 2 hidden layer neurons, and 1 output, or 331, and then some fixes that I did over time, just CPU time for reference relative different runs. And then you can pick the architecture. So I'm picking the 221 here, the learning rate of 1, which is, explain that a little later. You don't want that too big or it won't converge answers. You want it too small, it'll take forever. 4,000 epochs, that's 4,000, you don't want to go any more than that. The presentation of the training set here you see below, stopping tolerance of 0.1, I'll explain that in a second. And this is a simple OR gate that you see here in the 221. And so you only get 0 when you input 2 zeros, otherwise you get 1, because either one of them or both of them input will output a 1. So it's an input, input, and output in that array. And so I'm running it here. And this one should be pretty quick. You'll see on the y-axis that 0.9 will be the cutoff for considering it a logic 1. And then when it scrolls itself up, Matlab, you'll see the y-axis on the lower end being 0.1 because the stopping tolerance I've set is at 0.1. So either a 9, either a 0.9, so 1 minus 0.1 is 0.9, or 0 plus 0.1. So the upper and lower limits you consider as logic 1 and 0. That stopping tolerance, 0.9. So you see the this one goes pretty quickly to a solution here, where the only time it's 0 is when both inputs are 0. That's the blue, and the green, yellow, and red are the other cases of 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. So we see learning rate 1, tolerance stopping times 0.1, and 85 seconds. This is just a relative number. And then down below here, you see initial weights were set. Those are the weights between the connections. You weight the connections between the neurons. Explain that a little later. And so you see legend here. The blue is the 0, 0 input, the red 0, 1, yellow 1, 0. And the stopping tolerances at 0.9 and 0.1 for the 1s and 0s. And next, we want to make this something a little different. So it seems like one minor change, but we'll find out this is a major difficulty for neural networks. You know, an exclusive OR. So when you get 1, 1 input, we want a 0 now instead of a 1. And that is harder for the thing to learn, the neural network to learn. If you have both inputs 0, and that's 0, but then anytime you add either one and you get a 1 out, that in the OR gate, that makes sense, or both. But when you have a 1, 1, and you get a 0, even though the 0, 1s and 1, 0 gave a 1. That's more difficult for it to learn. That's called linear separability. Learn about that in other places. Now, this is going to take significantly longer to learn. So you see it here, just progressing along. Looks like nothing's happening. They're all just kind of riding along the same place. Right? The initial weights and the biases. Each neuron has actually an input from the side also. And in future networks, you can have two different neural networks influence each other through the bias. And then you can watch the numbers here, scrolling if you like, for the 4 cases. Each of the exemplars in the training set. So you have inputs, stimulus, and desired outputs or actual outputs here that we're watching. The desired outputs are behavior we're trying to make it learn. In this case, the exclusive OR. And it's not, they're not separating. The 4 cases are not separating very easily here, because it's trying to compromise between these 4 different constraints. Each of the exemplars is a constraint. It needs to learn how to do all 4 of them, even if they contradict each other. All 4 of those combinations of desired inputs or inputs with desired outputs, stimulus and desired output combinations, all 4 of them need to be satisfied simultaneously. So it's just kind of chugging along here. And we'll learn that the value, the optimization that we're looking for, the learning, is equivalent to a local minima on an error surface, where the error is defined by the collective difference between all of the desired outputs and what you're actually getting in any particular iteration. And so you generate this error surface. Now it's an n-dimensional space, n's the number of weights. So we have more than that here. We have more than, it's not just 4 weights, we have 4 exemplars, but it's a 2-2-1 architecture with everything connected together. So all those weights need to settle. If it was just a 3-dimensional space of 3 weights, which you can't have, but for visualization, you could imagine an error surface where you're trying to find a minimum, and you do gradient descent learning. It's Calc 3, multivariable chain rule, perhaps Calc 2 to talk to where that's learned. But and we can look at that in later lessons. But for here, now what we see is now they're starting to separate. So that's one reason the learning rate needs to be small, so that when you're traversing across the error surface, you want very small little steps so you can get down into a trench where the local minima is and get down in there. Otherwise, you're going to hop back and forth over it if the learning rate is too great. So you see separation here, and you see the blue one finally going down. Now that is the 0. The blue one is the 0, 0 case. And so that's going to go down, and that should output a 0. But now this green one, now the green one is the 1, 1 case, and we want a 0 for that. But see, it's not working, and so that it needs to work on this a little bit and redistribute the changes in the weights. So each time you present one of these exemplars in the set, the training set, you take the error between what's actually coming out at any given moment, which is not binary, and what your desired output is, and then you back propagate that and change the weights, and then you do the next exemplar, try to change the weights again, and you do change the weights again, and you hope for some kind of compromise eventually. So the blue one's almost, the 0, 0 case of the blue is almost where it needs to be. But the green still needs to work on the green here. So how long will it take? Now, this learning rate you can make as a variable itself. And there is a technique called momentum. I'm not introducing it in this simple example, but momentum would be where it would learn from previous epochs. If there was a lot of change going on, and if it didn't look like it, it would accelerate or magnify the learning rate. And then when it starts seeing things change, it slow down. I've also seen that implemented manually with a joystick, so you could watch this and you could crank up the learning rate in that big plateau area where they're all kind of grouped together and not doing much. As soon as you start seeing change, pull back on the joystick. Don't let it change too much, or you might just, it goes unstable, and or it just finds, or it can't find the local minimum to solve the problem. So now we see that green is bending down, which is good because the green needs to go down, and the yellow and the red are the two cases for the exclusive OR, the two cases where you do want a 1 output. So those should be heading up towards the 1 y-axis, and the green should be coming down. So you can watch those numbers if you like. You can see the first one there, the output 0, 0. It just needs to get to 0.1, and then that will be satisfied. Now, it will keep changing until all of them have changed, because you're still changing weights all over the place. So you can't just stop changing the weights for that particular one once you reach the threshold, because the weights need to represent a compromise between all of them. So just satisfying one doesn't mean stop doing anything with the error created from that one. You have to constantly present all of the training set over and over again and get the error for each one of those exemplars and back propagate them one at a time for all the exemplars. In this case, there's 4, and that's 1 epoch, which what you see is what you see on the x-axis here, or epochs. So we have 12, we're going towards 1,200 epochs. That's 4,800 presentations of exemplars, because there's 4 times 1,200. There's 4 exemplars in the training set. So we're almost there. You can see in the numbers below that the first case is definitely below 0.1 already. The green one's still reaching down. It's not quite there yet, but the 2 middle cases are getting close to 0.9, at 0.89 on both of those, and all we need is 0.1 to consider it, I'm sorry, 0.9 to consider it a 1. And so, the first 3 cases are satisfied, but we're not done learning until all the exemplars in the training set are satisfied. We're still changing the weights all over the place. Now, if you have a huge network with lots of interconnection weights, there'll be whole regions that settle down and solve part of the problem, don't tweak too much, and other regions that'll take over, typically, if you have a big enough network. So we're just waiting now on the very last one here. You see the 1-1 case, and that needs to get down below 0.1 so we can consider it a logic 0, right? So that's what we're heading for. We're trying to get less than 0.1 on the first and last case to consider it a logic 0. That's how we've defined it with our stopping tolerance. And then the 2 middle cases above 0.9, greater than 0.9, to be considered a logic 1. So we're trying to do a binary function. We're learning a binary function, but these neural networks are not. They're analog calculations. So we want to look at this graph here. Just get this brought forward. And so you can see this took quite a bit more time. It's going to be on the order of magnitude of 10 times more to learn the exclusive OR gate than the OR gate in this type of architecture. And this is so CPU time, but that's the actual time is irrelevant. Just think of the relative difference between the different things that you're learning. Because because this varies by machine. I've ran this VPNing to an office machine, you know, and so this, it varies, but the relative magnitudes are what you look at. So that is our example of our simple example in this software introduction to neural network learning.